How are you doing? Yes, we are here, as you guessed, to see if the reverb that is here in the collaboration between Chase Bliss and Goodhertz in the Lossy pedal can be had in the Meris Mercury X modular reverb stereo awesomeness. They're both great pedals. I would say one is not more awesome than the other. They're just different. Lossy here, of course, kind of giving us that late 90s, early 2000s music download, digital degradation sound that we all were familiar with back then, and have it here boxed up in a quite musical and lovely way. So let's give a quick rundown. There is no loss in this signal right now. That knob is all the way down. If you want to hear the loss, I have a couple of videos on this channel that kind of show the sounds there. So with the loss off, the mode switch, packet switch, and speed switch are kind of null. They don't really matter. You do have the filter section, so the filter, the frequency, and the slope switch. Those are all a part of the sound and that you're getting out of this box, even with the loss turned down. Global here really kind of is a wet-dry in this configuration. And then the reverb really here is just how much reverb is in the sound, in the signal. It doesn't affect the decay, it doesn't affect the depth, any of that. So to speak, here is the no reverb. Yeah, no reverb. 10 o'clock reverb. 2 o'clock reverb. And all the way up, 5 o'clock. So, if you listen carefully as it in the little different settings, the decay is still there. It's just how loud it is. So I had it there about right there. And let's get a little bit of this, and then we'll see if I was able to mimic it with the Mercury X. Nice decay there. So, all right, let me show you here what I got here with the Mercury X. So, let's go give a quick rundown, pardon me, of where I set everything up. So, we just have a standard pre-delay. Chose the BBD chip on that. A little bit of divisions there on the right and the left because I was hearing it in the Lossy. Reverb I have set as a 78 room, and what else have I thrown in there? I have thrown in the freeze dynamics. You'll see that in a sec. The tube preamp, the state variable filter, that's set with a high pass top topology, no pitch, a hazy modulation, and yeah, that's where that is. So let me do this real quick so you can hear them back to back without me talking in between. Here's Lossy. And the Mercury X. So, to me right away, it's not the same. Not exactly, anyway. Back here to the Lossy, just a little strum. Mercury X. Some similarities, so let's just like... So what do you hear? To me, I hear, if I can best describe it as, so you have the initial attack on the Lossy, there's like a dip, and then it comes in and hits you a little bit harder. Um, I'm sorry, I'm trying to like verbally describe what I'm hearing. You have your attack, and then it's kind of like the pre-delay before the majority of the verb comes in, but it's not quite like a pre-delay. It's a little bit different. So let me see if you guys can hear that. Maybe best if I just like do this. Versus the Mercury X, which is a little bit more immediate. EQs aren't quite the same either. The mids here are a little bit dipped, and the highs are a little bit dipped, and versus the Lossy, which is kind of has, I would say, smooth with a little bit of bump in the highs as it as it goes, and a lot of that is the filter here, adjusting the filter. So the way that I made this was again to be as close as possible, but also to kind of give some of the same controls. So for example, let's scroll over to the filter. I have a high-pass filter on here where you can adjust the frequency and the resonance. That's kind of the same here. So as you adjust the Lossy filter, you can adjust that as well. And then we'll come back to that in a second. So let's do the Lossy now in, let's call it all wet, and see if we can, how that sounds mimicked. So here we go, Lossy. So even in full wet, you can hear the difference. There is a metallic feature to both of these, but because of the way they kind of handle the overall frequencies together, they sound different. Both pleasant in what we're going for, but different. So let's take this back here, and I forget where this was exactly, but one good way to reset your settings at the after it's been saved is to bump out of it, bump back into it. So back to Lossy. There is a secret, kind of secret, but also not secret, infinite switch. So when you're playing, you can hit this button once, and it kind of has a, it's kind of like a very long evolving decay as you play. So for example, here's what that sounds like. It is picking up specific frequencies, it is doing its own thing, it is coming along with us, but it also kind of dies out on its own. So you can, of course, let's say you hit a note, and if there's a lot of dip switches in the back that show you a bunch of different things you can do, there is a latch dip switch. So if you hit this and hold it, it'll turn green. That latch is what it's doing. So let me just show you what I mean by that. And let me try it again, a little bit more immediate. So it picked up that that drone, and then it's like from the attack, it grabbed that attack, droned it, and then I hit the infinite part of it, and it just kind of kept going. So on the Mercury X, I created the hold modifier to be a latching freeze. you can actually set this hold modifier to be pretty much anything you want. Any of the parameters that you're using can be done as a latching or momentary switch. So comparatively, here's what that is. I turned off that, and okay, so let me, sorry, that's really cool. Let me go back to that. When you play with the modifier on, you have the effect still on and engaged, any of your incoming dry signal is also affected by the reverb, even though the modifier is on here. It's holding that. So I just turned this off, and the modifier is still going. This freeze is still going. My assumption is, now that this is disengaged, if I start playing, anything I come in new will actually not be affected by the reverb. Let's see. What do you know? Don't think this does that, and it's just not made to. So let's see if I can bring that down a little bit. Bring this back on. Maybe give us a little bit of that as our outro. Ooh, a little bit of loss, maybe? Just a little bit. A little bit's always good. So, we got to explore the similarities and differences. Turn that part off. That's just, sorry. It's going to distract me. We get to explore the similarities and differences between the Chase Bliss and Goodhertz Lossy. And if I could make the reverb on this pedal come alive out of the Meris Mercury X. And there are some similarities, but they're not exactly the same. Which is okay. It's just kind of an experiment to see if we could do it anyway. But as always, I want to say thank you for being a part of today. This window, this conversation. Thank you for coming along and exploring with me. I am so grateful to each of you for being a part of this collaboration, this journey. And I wish the best and all things for you. So, why don't you take a minute, like and subscribe. Make a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, if you liked, if you didn't like, all of those fun things. I really do want to know. Let's build this together. Let's craft this together. And in doing so, I also would like to throw it out there. Join the channel. Support us that way. It helps us make content that is relevant to your needs, what you're looking for. It helps us have fun together. So be a part of that conversation. Be a part of crafting what we do. And from there, let's see what we can explore. All right.